then comes the constipation phase. Once you start going back to high protein diet, you're not going to have a whole lot of room in your sleeve. I mean, like I said, I was eating a half a cup per meal. My doctor in my hospital gave me a sheet of guidelines. They said 75% lean protein, 25% carbohydrates coming from vegetables. You know, preferably high fiber vegetables like cauliflower, squash, beans, lentils. But you're eating so little overall that, you know, 800 calories a day, that's, you know, if you break up in 4 meals, that's 200 calories. 200 calories will fit into a half cup size container. Wish I had one of my little containers right here in front of me. I used to have them sitting on my desk all the time, but I wound up cooking my food so many times and reheating it in the microwave that I melted most of them. So that's why I switched to a glass container. But I can't find number one, I can't eat, you know, I'm not satisfied with a half cup anymore. And number two, you can't find a glass half cup Pyrex bowl. So we go through the constipation phase where I was adding flax seed to my diet to try to blending it in with my food for weeks and weeks. Just had this constant battle with constipation. And so a couple of times I had to resort to milk and magnesia after I didn't go to the bathroom for 4, 5, 6 days. And milk and magnesia worked for me one time, never worked for me again. So I had to develop my own little system I called priming the pump. You know, pre-surgery, I never had any issues going to the bathroom. When I had to go, I had to go. There, I could just, you know, if I waited too long to go and the thought hit me I need to go, I better start heading to the restroom, because as soon as I thought about it, it was coming out. It's like it was on a countdown to launch. There was no stopping it. So readjusting to that took a long time, and figuring out, you know, how that was, all the mechanics and how those would work. So I call it priming the pump. So I'd go to the restroom, sit down and strain as hard as I could to get the process going. Maybe sit there for a few minutes, and if nothing was happening, you know, I'd get up and go about my day. And that priming the pump kind of would kickstart the reaction, and I would be able to go to the bathroom later on that day. So I guess that may be TMI. Another big thing I see coming up on the forums, questions about how much can I drink at once. In the very beginning, literally, it was just enough to wet my tongue during those first 10 days or so, and even into the continuing on the month. I really couldn't drink more than about a teaspoon per swallow on an empty stomach. Everything upset my stomach, and that's just the way it went for a while. But I kept a big 32-ounce glass of Crystal Light on my desk, and every time I'd look at it, I would take a sip. And I never got dehydrated. I always felt okay. As long as I felt okay, I wasn't concerned about it. I wasn't worried about calories. I was only worried about water. So I just drank sip, 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 and more sip. You know, I was acutely aware of the possibility of being dehydrated. So that's how I handle it. Just kept on drinking, and eventually you will be able to hold more and more and more. After 6 months, you know, I knew I had trained myself to know how much I could drink on an empty stomach versus how much I could drink with food in my stomach. When I would eat, I would take just enough of a sip to wet my tongue to get the dryness off my tongue, and I still do. I might drink maybe 2 ounces total with a meal, even to this day. Without any food in my stomach, I can drink up to 8 ounces now safely without stopping. Just I can tilt back a 16-ounce bottle of water, drink half of it with no ill effects. I haven't tried more than that. I guess that's all I have to say on that. But you know, you just have to train yourself. It becomes an unconscious habit. I mean, just like when I was learning to drive and keep a proper distance behind other cars, it took a long time to get used to following that 3-second rule. But but now I can't help but follow that rule. I have to consciously force myself to drive closer to a car in front of me. Otherwise, if I start looking around and my thoughts start wandering, next thing I know, I'm back 3 seconds behind the car in front of me, no matter what the speed is. I just practiced that 3-second rule, and the same thing applies to eating and drinking with after weight loss surgery. You learn the new way to do things. You learn your limits, and eventually it becomes an unconscious habit. Next thing on my list is fast food. I can literally count on one hand, take away the thumb, and maybe take away one finger, the number of times I have eaten fast food in the past 2 years. I have gone out to eat with friends at lunch. It's nothing like it used to be. Now, strictly speaking, my definition of fast food is some place like McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King. I have eaten a few more times at other places like TGI Fridays or Chili's. They're on the borderline of what I would consider fast food. I just don't have the desire to eat those foods anymore. I really don't have any preference for really any flavors anymore on a day-to-day basis. So it's a big point of contention between me and my best friend. We have eaten out every Saturday night for years and years and years, and we take turns picking the restaurant. And every Saturday night I'm like, dude, what do you want to eat? He goes, no, it's your turn to pick. I'm going to make you pick. And it's like, but if you have something you have a taste for, let's go eat that, because I don't care anymore. I can eat something at any restaurant we go to, and it really doesn't matter to me what it is. So that's the reason why I don't eat fast foods. Not just because they're empty calories and they're processed so much that they're not very healthy for you. I just don't care about them anymore. Hopefully you won't care about them either. Hopefully we can all lose whatever these ties are we have to the flavors that drive us to eat those foods. I mean, nothing against the food companies, because as far as their products, because they're doing what a business is supposed to do. They're supplying a product that people want to buy. I mean, you wouldn't criticize a shirt company for making a better shirt. You don't criticize Apple for making a better iPhone. I can't criticize a food company for making foods taste better and more appealing to me. Don't like it, but it's a choice. I don't have to eat those kinds of foods. But they were playing on my genetically encoded preferences, for salt, for sugar, for fat. We're genetically coded to like those things, and those food companies perform literally thousands and thousands of tests and trying different combinations of fat, sugar, and salt to figure out what is most appealing to the most people. So just nothing against the food companies. That's what they're supposed to do. They provide a product people want. It's up to us to limit how much we take in and stay away from them, or how much we allow ourselves to eat of them. Fortunately, I'm in control of my food addiction 99.9% of the time now. I do allow myself cheat meals, because I eat the same thing over and over again. It is nice to have some variety. At work, every day or every couple of days, I let myself have a little bit of something that they give away. Like at my current job, they give away cereal. So I have a choice between Cheerios or Raisin Bran. I love Raisin Bran. So I get one of the coffee cups, which is an 8-ounce cup or 12-ounce cup, and I'll fill it halfway up, and I'll eat it dry. And that's enough of a variety for me that I don't need to have other things. I can pass up the candy machine that's right next to the free cereal, or I can pass up that bowl of candy on somebody's desk, or I can pass up those cinnamon rolls somebody made at home and brought to work and put them on the table for everybody to share. So I do plan for and incorporate cheat meals into my diet. Currently, my cheat meals are every Saturday night, because I didn't want to break up my tradition of going out to eat with my best friend. So I allow myself to eat whatever I want to without any guilt whatsoever for that one meal. Every 2 weeks I visit my parents' house, and my mom loves to cook for me on Sunday afternoon. But it's another one of the things where, they don't like the same foods I like. The stuff I eat is pretty, I guess, bland and boring to them. I would consider to any normal person. It would be bland and boring. So she likes to cook a variety of things, you know. She doesn't like cooking the same thing twice in a row when I come to visit. So she'll cook pasta, or she'll cook a meatloaf, or she'll cook a beef stew with vegetables, or she'll make chicken and dumplings. So once every 2 weeks, that's another cheat meal I have planned for my diet. I don't eat a whole lot of it. I try to stick to you know, a cup or two of whatever it is, you know, 8 to 12 ounces of whatever it is over the course of the day, because I'll usually have one small meal for lunch, and I'm there for 6 hours, and I'll have another small meal at around 2 o'clock. And I plan on having food cravings. If she's serving pasta, and she usually makes pasta with Texas garlic toast, she likes to serve potato salad with it too. It's like weird. I never had potato salad with pasta before, but it's pretty good. But I realize I may have food cravings, and have to just be aware of that and be more in control of my eating for the rest of the day. She likes to send this stuff home with me, and I don't like to hurt her feelings and tell her, no, I can't take it home with me because I'll overeat on it, you know. I have a hard time portioning those things out when I have them in the house. So I just bring it home, and I have to force myself to, even though I hate wasting food, I put it down in the garbage disposal and get rid of it. I have to. I can't leave it in the house. I can't. I don't want to be tempted. I don't want to go back to the old track. Sorry about my voice. I've been talking for like an hour and 45 minutes now, and I'm not used to talking this long, so my throat's getting scratchy, my sinuses are draining, my eyes are watering, but I've only got a little bit left, so maybe I can power through this real quick. The speed at which I lost weight versus the super losers that I see on the forums. Super losers are people who lost like 20 plus pounds every month for 5 months in a row. People claiming that I lost 100 pounds. I've been 5 months, 6 months out. I'm like, man, I wanted to be one of those people. But you don't know what they did to lose that weight. You don't know they don't ever go into details about how small their meals were. You know, were they only eating 500 calories a day? Were they walking 10 miles? Were they working out, lifting weights for 2 hours every day in the gym? You just don't know. My average loss over time has been about 10 to 12 pounds a month. In the beginning, I was losing 13, 15 pounds a month, and then after 3-4 months, it slowed down as my calories and my food choices changed. So I kept referring back to my old thoughts of how much were you losing before the surgery? You know, when I was pre-surgery, trying to lose weight on my own, I would have been happy just to lose any amount of weight on a consistent basis, even with half a pound a month, as long as I was going down. So I tried to keep that in mind. I was going down at a much higher rate than I expected, or was expected to lose. Because my doctor wanted me to lose about 10 pounds a month. I would advise anybody to take advantage of the honeymoon period. That first 6 months when your sleeve is the most restricted, your gastric bypass pouch is the most restrictive, because it will get easier to eat and overeat over time and tolerate more kinds of foods. Use that time when your stomach is growling at you and complaining about anything you're eating to get into good food habits, get into habits of eating less, waiting longer between eating the right kinds of foods. Just really take advantage of that time, because it's not going to come back, and things are just going to get to the point where it requires more effort and willpower on your part, and more conscientious thinking about what you're eating on your part. Since the surgery, the stress of dieting has been completely gone. Don't have those constant battles with my mind. I was always focusing on what I was going to eat next. I now feel like this is the normal way a normal person feels about food. I don't have the stress of knowing I'm going to be wanting to eat again in 2 hours. I'm just in control. It was the greatest decision of my life. Hopefully you guys have been patient with me, got as much as you can out of this, and I've inspired a few of you to make that decision whether you think weight loss surgery is for you or not. Just want to give you as much info as I can on the realities of weight loss surgery.